For the record, I still think that the gymnastics moment from The Lost World is way more stupid than the talking velociraptor in this movie. Doesn't mean this is a good movie though. Jurassic Park III is directed by Joe Johnston, written by Peter Buckman, Alexander Payne, and Jim Taylor, and stars Sam Neill, William H. Macy, Téa Leoni, and Alessandro Nivola. And in Jurassic Park 3, Dr. Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill once again, is convinced by this seemingly wealthy couple, played by William H. Macy and Téa Leoni, to go to Isla Sorna, supposedly to just tour them around, but this couple actually wants to find their missing son on this island. Now, rewatching these Jurassic Park movies, it's almost surprising to me how much I don't enjoy these sequels. I specifically remember watching Jurassic Park 3 as a kid and enjoyed it. I remember watching The Lost World and being really scared by it, but now I just don't really enjoy them that much. It's great to see Sam Neill back in this role. However, there's just something off about this movie, especially with the way the audio and the visuals are. Like I mentioned, there's something slightly off about how the dinosaurs look in this movie. Objectively, they don't look bad, but they're surprisingly not as convincing as they were in the previous two movies. Because for me, there's just too much CGI that it becomes obvious that, you know, these actors are just acting in front of nothing. And the animatronics they do use here are kind of stiff, especially for the Spinosaurus. It doesn't really feel like it's moving organically. And there's also something off about how the dinosaurs sound in this movie. And again, objectively speaking, they don't sound bad. But the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus have been reduced to like sounding like generic monsters instead of how in the first Jurassic Park movie, the dinosaurs sounded really distinct and scary because they were so alien almost. Like you remember when the first time you hear the T-Rex roar in the first movie, it sounds like a whale, and the Velociraptors also have their distinct sound, and here they all just kind of sound like normal creatures. And the editing here by Robert Dalva is faster paced, but for me this actually robs the movie of its suspense instead of adding to it. And most of the scenes in this movie alternate from these action sequences to these, you know, character building moments that are slower in pace that don't really work. Like, it just doesn't feel like there's a thread going through this movie. It just feels like a bunch of random scenes put there to reach the 90-minute mark. And the plot feels like this self-contained sort of fan fiction of Jurassic Park. It doesn't really feel like the third installment in this franchise because it doesn't feel like this movie adds anything to the universe at all. It's just kind of a tiny story with, you know, just, you know, a returning character and a bunch of new ones you don't really care about. The dramatic elements in the script feel like an obligation rather than something that furthers a theme, because there really isn't a theme going in around this movie. And the characters are almost all just completely unlikable. This is the first time I really kind of wanted to see the dinosaurs win flat out. William H. Macy and Téa Leoni really don't have anything to do in this movie other than be annoying, especially Téa Leoni, who really just kind of runs around screaming her head off, and it's really annoying. Alessandro Nivola is really bland as Billy, who is like Alan Grant's assistant of sorts. He reminded me of Jai Courtney in that, you know, he's literally just generic white dude, and there's nothing really to his character, even if he does some stupid things. And I didn't buy the fact that the obligatory kid in this movie was not scared out of his mind. I'm sorry, but like, it doesn't matter how resourceful you are, but if you spend 8 weeks evading like a Spinosaurus and a bunch of Velociraptors, you are going to be scared. You're not going to become, I don't know, Conan the Barbarian or whatever. You will be scared, and I don't buy the fact he wasn't scared. And Joe Johnston can direct action, but everything in this movie feels extremely hollow without any real stakes because there's no urgency to the tone that he establishes, and there's no attempt at depth. However, I can't say that Jurassic Park 3 is a totally bad movie. For me, there are admittedly quite a few cool moments in the movie, such as the initial obligatory raptor ambush, I think is really cool. The whole sequence with the pteranodons is really, really nice because it's something that's never been seen before in the Jurassic Park movie, and it is fresh for me. It's just that these scenes really, again, don't feel connected to each other. They're more often than not separated by these long stretches where nothing interesting happens by way of character or plot. But for me, the best part of the movie is Sam Neill. Like, it's so good to see him back in his role. He slips right back into it perfectly. And I like that they made his character a bit snarkier, a bit more jaded, and it was nice to see someone with a personality like this, especially against some people who you really want to be snarky at. Even if his motivation as a character is weak in this movie, like, it's still fun to see him here. So in my opinion, Jurassic Park 3 is meh. It's not really a good movie for me. It's definitely the weakest of the Jurassic Park sequels. However, I still do think it's totally watchable. It's just really forgettable as well. And I also just forgot to say that Don Davis, who did the music for this movie, the way they put in the Jurassic Park theme, like for me, is completely out of place. They should have just like not used it if they were just gonna end up using it for a weird moment. Alright, so those are my thoughts on Jurassic Park 3. Have you guys seen it? What do you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, whether you agree with me or not, please leave me a comment. Let's have a conversation.